Good morning. Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay? Not too loud? I'll turn it down. Is it warm in here? Or is it just me? Everybody feel all right? Okay. Too cold. We do have blankets in the back, but I can turn this down if I need to. All right. First of all, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Thank you very much. You know, I try to talk Butch and them to sing at least 2 or 3 more songs when I have to come up here, so I don't have as much time to speak. But he kind of stays with his true tradition and just plays the same number of songs. However, it being Father's Day, there's a lot more people here than I thought there was going to be. But that doesn't mean that I can't get you fathers out early enough to be able to have a good nap today. Okay? So, if you'll turn to your Bibles with me, first of all, in Ephesians 6:4. All week long, for a while now, I knew Stevie wanted me to come up here and take care of this because he was going to be gone to his wedding, and I'd been wondering what I was going to preach on. And all of a sudden, I got thinking, here comes Father's Day, and all these sermons come online on the radio station I listen to about Father's Day. And I started searching in the Bible about what I'm going to talk about. I go back to, I spent probably 3 nights ago, I couldn't sleep, and one of the fathers I talk about in the Bible is King Hezekiah. So I went through my Bible, I went through my study Bible, I read every single thing about King Hezekiah in any of the chapters of the book, or any of the books of the Bible that he was in. And I was like, well, how is this tied into it? Well, hopefully later I'll be able to put some of that into it. But I was searching and searching and searching, and I came across something the other day that really just kind of hit me between the eyes. And it was a sermon that I heard of a pastor that I really like, Greg Laurie, and hopefully I'll do some of it justice. I don't have all of it in here because it was a long sermon that he preached upon, and a lot of numbers that he had in there. But hopefully I'll be able to do some of it justice this morning. But it being Father's Day, and it was a Father's Day sermon, and it was called Needed Superheroes. Now, first of all, moms, don't let me take away from your Mother's Day. However, we know that Father's Day, our gifts are not as good as y'all's are. Okay? We know that happens. But this is for the guys out there. And moms, also, I don't want you to be sitting next to your spouse, and when you hear something that comes up, don't be over nudging, going, see, I told you. Okay? That's not what today is about. It's about those things that God wanted us to be able to do, to be able that godly father, or to be able that religious father figure in our home. So let me read Ephesians 6:4 real quick. Because I will tell you, there have been times that my wife has nudged me and said, don't be doing that to your kids. So let me read Ephesians 6:4. It says, fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for this time. I thank you so much for the people that are here, the fathers that are here, the mothers that are here, everybody that is here. I pray that you be with those that cannot make it today. I pray that you be with those that are traveling, that are on vacation, those that are coming home. Father, I just pray that throughout this day that we will be able to find some way to glorify you, to search for you. Father, I ask that you just give me the word to be able to help touch somebody out there, to be able to help them be a better father, better husband, better man. And so these things I ask in Christ Jesus' name. Amen. Now, the title of it was called Needed Superheroes. There's plenty of different types of superhero movies out there we know nowadays, right? There's Spider-Man, there's Batman, there's Ant-Man. I mean, we have all of those that are out there. Thor, Iron Man, etc. We can go on and on and on with all the new different superhero movies that are out there. But if you wanted to compare superheroes together, pretty much everybody in our generation does it right now. We know that Superman is probably the number one out there, right? He is it. But what I want to talk about is a different type of Superman. He is simply called, we're not talking about just the biological dads that are out there that may not be there anymore for their children. Those that have just come and gone. You know, we're talking about dads, those that have either been able to stay married to their wives, if not, those that are still in the role of being a godly parent for their children. We know things happen in society. They may have lost their spouse, and yet they are a single father raising their family. Those that can be responsible, those that are raising their children up to follow God, those that are being a positive role model in their home, those are the guys that we can call Superman. Now, just because something has happened in our lives that we think that either because we have gotten divorced or we are not with our children, they're not in our house, just because something may have happened out there, guys, don't feel like there is not a way for us to get back what we think we have lost. Because I will show you some things in this Bible, the book that God gives us. And if you will look at it, if you will ever read through there, there's instructions for fathers that are out there more than anything else. Besides talking about the type of love, money, and things of that nature. It instructs us fathers on what we are to be able to do and how we should be able to treat not only ourselves, but our children and our spouses. And I will tell you, another thing that hit me the other day, and hopefully I won't have all my squirrels run around too much. But this is something that hit me. It was a little video. Because I know as myself, I can be a little bit harsh sometimes when it comes to my kids, especially when it comes to my son. Because I am the assistant t-ball coach for his team, and have been over the last few years. And as you've heard Stevie say up here, there is nothing holy that goes on at the t-ball field. Okay? Now, I saw a video the other day, and I cannot tell it word for word, and Jenna can help me out with it if you can. But it was mainly talking about the 6 and 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. It was talking about baseball. It was talking about us fathers or moms that really push their kids as hard as possible. Okay? Now, sometimes I get really frustrated because my son Remy has so much more natural talent in baseball than I ever did. And sometimes when he's out there just twirling his hat, or he's out there dancing on the mound or whatever, it kind of gets to me because I'm like, I know how good you are. You better slow down and just play the ball, play the game right. But he does have that wonderful attitude. And sometimes I'll get mad because it talks about if we do that too often enough especially a father, we will burn them out of the game. The same thing goes if we are pushing our kids either in the opposite direction or we're pushing them so hard in life that they will forget about what it is that we're actually trying to do for them. We can push them away in certain areas. And when I saw that video, it really hit me, and I'm hoping that over the last few games and practices that I've been a lot better at holding my tongue and letting him play the game. Because it says, instead of getting on to them all the time, they are 6 and 7, 8-year-olds. He said, instead of getting on to them, take them for an ice cream. Show them that you love them. And it really, really hit me. So that was one of those things that just you will be able to find, God will put something in front of you, no matter what it is that you're seeking for that day or that week. If there's something that He wants you to know that may be going on in your life that you may be doing in a way that He thinks you can correct, believe me, He'll put it in your pathway. He'll put it in your path to be able to take a look at. Now, of course, we're talking about Superman out there. And those guys that I just told you about, I think that are Superman. The good news is, guys, you don't have to put on a pair of blue tights and over your underwear. Some of you might, however, I am not certified enough to be able to take on what we need to talk about. I'll let Stevie do that when he gets back. Okay? No, that was a poor joke. It came much better from Greg Glory, I'll tell you. It really did. It's a much better joke. But let me give you some facts out there about our kids in today's society. This is what he really, really hit on. And we can trace almost every social ill to the absence of a masculine leader in our home. Everything that's going on within our society, we can trace it back to the absence of a father figure, some way or another. First in our society today, we have a group of kids that are called latchkey kids. Has anybody ever heard that term yet out there? I know some of the teachers probably have. The latchkey kids are anywhere between 5 years of age and 13 years of age that go home either by bus or by a pier or whatnot, and they're home all by themselves. There is nobody else there to guide them as a parent, okay, for a period of time. Now my question would be, in that position, who is teaching our kids during that time frame? This is something that we need to think about. One would be their peers. Okay? Now, mom and dad, if we don't like their peers, what do we need to do? We need to try to help encourage them to change their peers. But if we're not there long enough to be able to talk to them about that, to bring them up in that direction, we don't have the ability to do so. The other one is our public schools. And the third one, which I think is really, really bad, is the media, TV, and the internet. There's too many things that can go on, and that's even if mom and dad is there, about the media, the TV, and the internet. We are putting them in front of the TV, setting them down, letting them watch TV while we go out and do whatever we need to do, whether it be mow the yard, whatever it is, without spending that time with our child. We've heard the gentleman that has come and spoken before about losing his family and his daughter being in prison, and how he would have given 5 more minutes to be able to spend playing catch with his son. Okay? Some of these things I may be saying might be kind of hard, but they hit me between the eyes the other day. And I try to, no matter how I feel, to go out there and play catch, either with my son or my daughters. And sometimes, yes, it does get frustrating with the girls because they quit playing softball, and sometimes they don't catch as good as Remy. And then he gets mad because they don't catch as good as he does, and so it just slows up the game a little bit. However, no matter what it is, I can have Remy now throw the ball to them, and I can show them how to catch. I can be behind them as a father, moving that glove and saying, you need to catch it like this. Instead of me just trying to throw it to them and say, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. I can be behind them, showing them how to catch the ball, moving the glove to the ball and showing them how they need to turn it. Where before I know, me and my inner self, I would have been just throwing the ball to them saying, turn your glove over, without giving them instructions on how to do it. God gives us instructions in the Bible how to become fathers, how to be husbands. That is one of the things that all these numbers that we go through is because right now, comparing our society to any other society out there in this world, We are on the verge of becoming a fatherless nation. And this is not getting down on anybody. This is just telling you the facts that are out there. And when I read over some of these facts, I was blown away. Because there's not far long ago, we were the greatest, we had the greatest generation in the world. And now we have come down to being almost a fatherless nation in the world. What is that going to do to those of us that have children? They're going to have children, for our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. If there are no more fathers out there, we're going to be devastated. Our country is going to be devastated. The good news is, though, we have ways to correct it. We have ways to take care of it. First thing is, one, fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. We may have to get ourselves there first, but guess what? As they watch us do that, what are they going to do? They're going to follow in our footsteps. Just like the song which they sang up here earlier, about him, the father having to stop really quick, and the little boy saying a 4-letter word. Where did he learn the word? He learned it from his dad. Also, the good thing about it is, where did the little boy learn to pray? From his dad. Those are the things that we, as men, need to do. This is our, I'm going to call it our day, because it is Father's Day. It is our day. It is a day that our Father gave to us. Maybe he was not the one that put it on the calendar and made it Father's Day, but he gave us the ability to be fathers. And somebody else put it on the calendar, but it is our day. It is our day to reflect and look upon ourselves. What do we need to do to be a better father? To do what we need to do to be a better husband, to be a better leader. Read to you Proverbs 29:15. (29:15) says, "The rod of correction imparts wisdom, but a child left to himself disgraces his mother." And that goes back to the latchkey kids. If we leave our kids alone, if we don't get involved in their lives, if we just happen to have to work so much that we're not there for them. And I know there for a while I did. I put everything I had to into work for a long time. And I was off for a while, and Janet was still up here, and that was with the twins. And I put a lot of stuff into work. There were some things that I missed if I would have kept going on that direction. But then I decided, you know what? I'm going to come home and be with my kids. I came home and my kids and my daughters, as soon as they saw me, they came home, they wanted me to rub lotion on their feet. So I rubbed lotion on their feet. So they get down in front of me real quick, so I had to rub lotion on their feet. It's little things like that that you will remember forever as a father. I'm going to tell something on myself. I was going through all this stuff all week long about what I was going to preach about my fathers and how I could be a better father with my children. So one night I was there thinking, Janet was gone, and we were sitting there in front of the TV, and I'm like, let's get more involved in something. So I'm like, hey, you girls want to paint Daddy's toenails for you? So I let them do it. Of course, Remy wants to get involved too, because don't leave him out. So they all go back there, they get a different color, they all paint one hand, they all paint one foot, paint the other hand, they paint the other foot. And so, of course, before I went to bed that night, I did get all the ones off my fingers and stuff, so, but for the week, I had it on my toes. I only had Jenny get down there and get them off of me, so I couldn't reach very well. But, they had so much fun, the joy in their eyes, because it was so funny that Daddy was getting fingernail polish and toenail polish on his fingers and toes. But they had a great time. They saw that Dad was willing to allow them to do something to him, even though it made me be the funny guy, but they could laugh at me, and they had a great time doing it. And that was one thing that I will definitely remember. We hold the key, fathers and husbands, we hold the key of what the Bible calls us to do in bringing our children up in righteousness. If we remain involved in our children's lives and bring them up to know God, and these are some of the other statistics that were out there that really bored me. And moms, definitely do not take this. This is not taking anything away from you. This is showing us as a congregation, as a nation, what it's looking like with our nation becoming a fatherless nation. But it says here, if we remain involved in our children's lives and are bringing them up to know God as a family, this is as a husband and wife, 79% either usually return if they stray, or 79% stay within the church and end up making something of themselves. 79%. If it is a divorced family and the father is the one that is involved in taking them to church, 40% of the children will end up having a better chance of making it or coming back if they do stray. If there is no father involved whatsoever, and you would think that it wouldn't drop as well as it did, because we know how mothers are in nurturing our children, but it goes to 17%. 17%. So what does that tell us? That's telling us that our children need us as fathers. That God tells us in the Bible, again, what we should do. He lays it out there for us. It may not be plain at first when you read it, because believe me, it took me forever to try to figure this stuff out. But I have help along the way. As I pray, as I talk to other people, as I listen, I can finally decipher and put things together of where they are. But if you want to read something, you can read about King Hezekiah, and the best one is in Isaiah, where it talks about it. Because he was 25 years old when he was appointed king. And this was a time when the children of God were still running astray. They were running amok. They were running away from him. And we know, we've all heard the stories in Judges and everything else about the children of Israel being led through the wilderness, finally getting into the lands they're supposed to be getting into, but they still ran astray. Now, even though in King Hezekiah's time, it's talking about him over the children of Israel. But what he did at 25 years old, as a godly man, he tore down every altar. He got rid of everything that was not of God. He got rid of everything that was not of God. And what did God do? God spared his life because he became ill at one point in time, as he prayed to God. Another time, when Assyria was coming to attack him, he prayed about helping him to overthrow or not be overthrown by Assyria. What happened? God sent an angel out there and killed 180,000 of the Assyrian king's soldiers. He got up, packed all this stuff up, tucked his tail between his legs, and went back to Assyria. Just because King Hezekiah in the Old Testament did what God wanted him to do as a father, as a leader. Those are the things that we need to do. We need to be able to go out of ourselves and go out of our way to do what we need to do to be able to help our children, to help our families, because as we can see, we see it on the news every day, every single day. And if you will take it a step back or even dive into a little bit more, 9 times out of 10 when something happens, it was because either he or she did not have a father figure involved. Because the other thing is, if there is no father figure out there, a child's percentage of acceptance, worth, and achievement go way down. Go way down if there is no father figure out there. The chances for promiscuity, the chances of them going and trying other things with their peers, if we're not talking to them, goes way up if we are not in their lives. It doesn't matter if they have a cell phone. Guess what? One of those commercials where you see the woman taking the cell phone from her son and taking a look at it, she looks at it, she smiles at it, she gives it back, stay in their lives. As long as we will stay in their lives, we will know what's going on. We will know how we can help them out. I pray that I will become a better father throughout all this, because I know how my temper used to be, and probably still can be if I don't hold my tongue, especially with Remy out there on the ball field. But the thing of it is, if we will take a step back, look at ourselves, and do the things that we need to do, Christ will lead us to become that man that we need to be for our kids and our family. You know, Ephesians 6:4 is not just something that's there in the Bible for us to read as fathers or as mothers about exasperating our children and bringing them up. That is actually a command in the New Testament. That is a command for us as fathers in the New Testament of how we should be able to bring up our children. There was something also that I wanted to pull up real quick, because I was talking with a friend of mine, and he's a very godly man, and he and I share a lot of Fridays together for early Friday mornings, going over a lot of things. And this is one of the things that he sent to me to hopefully pass on to be an encouragement. But it's your kids' greatest need is to see you fully in love with Jesus. From that love they see will spawn truths to them of what love is and how God is in control, and as to why you love Jesus above all else. Because if they know that you love Jesus and you know who God is and you're trusting in God, guess what's going to happen? They're going to see it in you. It's just like a coworker that if you are living up to the expectations of what we should be as Christians, they see something in us. They see a life in us that they want. And eventually they'll come to us and go, hey, I see something going on. I mean, you know about Bob? He is the worst boss in town that we work for. Yet he is on you all the time, but you are always happy and upbeat. How do you do it? Let me tell you, I have somebody with higher authority than Bob that I answer to. And that is Jesus Christ. When they see that in us, our children will follow. You know, the other thing is, if you have stumbled, and this is for everybody out there, not just us dads, but if we have stumbled, if you think that you haven't lived up to your end of the bargain, if you want to reconcile that relationship with your spouse, with your kids, if you just simply want to start over again, we have that ability because Jesus Christ gave his life on the cross to cover our sins so we may have that second chance. That second chance is there any time we wish to get it. And the best thing about it is, when we ask, we may think things are all hopeless, but guess what? There is nothing impossible with God. Nothing impossible with God. There is plenty of people in here today that you can connect the dots back somewhere that God got you through something. And you can sit back and take a look and say, you know what? He did get us through that. He brought us through that. We were able to pay that bill, whatever it may have been. I've been there many times to where I felt like there is no way, I get down on myself because something happens and all of a sudden I'm like, how are we going to do this? How am I going to make this happen? Then I start thinking back again about what's happened in my life, and it's like, you big dummy. He's carried you through it before. Give it to him. Don't pick it back up and allow him to carry you through it again. That is the thing that we need to do. And us as fathers and as men, what is one of the worst things that will get in our way of allowing us to do something? It's pride. We hold so much pride in ourselves because we want to be able to be the ones that fix it. We want to be able to be the ones that takes control, that picks it up, that puts it back together, glues it back together, screws it back together, whatever it is. But guess what? A lot of times we cannot do that by ourselves. We can't. There's just no way. We've tried it so many ways out there, and we can't. But there is one person out there that we can, and that's Jesus Christ and God. I pray that you will search for Him in some way of having that personal relationship. I still have to work on mine. I will never be perfect. Never be perfect. And as Stevie asked me to do this again, as many times I've already been up here, I was scared to death. You're going to be scared to death. But get on your knees, ask God, and let Him have it. Remove your pride. If there's something you need that's between you and a child of yours, remove your pride and reach out to them. Do something today that will make a difference, either in your life or the life of your family. I'm going to read you one more thing. And Butch, if y'all want to go ahead and start making your way up, as Butch and them come up, I'm going to read this. This is Psalms 121. This is for encouragement. So you will know of a place that you can go if you have to read a little bit about encouragement. And this was one of those things that just happened to come up because I was looking at something else and it led me to this chapter in Psalms. But if you ever need help, you can turn to Psalms 121, and this is what it says. It says, I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. If we know that we have a Father that will do that for us, shouldn't we have the ability to pass that down to our children? He has given us, in that book right there, what we need to do. Fathers, I pray for you the rest of this day, the rest of this week, that somehow, some way, if there's any reconciliation that needs to go on out there, that you will do so. And as Butch and them play this last final song, we'll be down here. You can either come right now, or you can wait till the end of the service and talk to one of us, Butch or anybody after the service. But my prayer goes out to you that you will find find some way, something to do to be that better father, to be that better husband the rest of your life. Y'all stand.